Welcome to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where today it's the AFC Wildcard playoffs from a sold-out, jam-packed Gillette Stadium within the outskirts of New England, where today the hometown Patriots, six-time Super Bowl champions, take on the Cleveland Browns. DeBock alongside Connor Focasano on a wet and rainy day. From Foxborough, the Patriots make their way onto the field, reminiscent of their 1990 throwbacks that they sported, particular a playoff game against Cleveland in 1994. The coach for the Browns, Bill Belichick. You see the Browns and Patriots overlooking a scene. We'll be back after the national anthem. Fly over from 3 helicopters, all in set for this huge playoff game between the Browns and the Patriots. We saw earlier in the week the Colts win a wild game against the Kansas City Chiefs. We're hoping for something of that nature here today. We do know the winner of this game will play the Pittsburgh Steelers next weekend, as we have just had the toss of the coin. Nothing like the build-up before a big playoff game. And you play all season, Connor Focasano, and now it's finally here. Playoff time is finally around.
It finally is, and it's so good, Danny, to see the Patriots in their old retro uniforms back from the Drew Bledsoe era, and to see Brady representing that uniform in this one today. Going to be the battle of two great quarterbacks, Danny, but then you got the Patriots with the better passing game, and then the Browns, of course, with Jim Brown for the better running game. So it'll be the battle of the offenses today.
And Patriots, pass-heavy team, no doubt. They'll get the football first as the Browns set to kick it away with Horace Gillum. And the Patriots, a team that is pass-heavy, will have their difficulties today, you would imagine, with the weather, wet and rainy conditions all across the day. Gillum kicks off, and the wild card playoff is underway from New England. Raymond Claiborne on the return for the Patriots. He's out to the 18-yard line. That brings onto the field Tom Brady in the New England offense. And so much that you can detail about Tom Brady in his career. Well, 6 Super Bowls, Connor. Well, it speaks for itself.
Yes, it certainly does. And you also have to remember, for him to do it in the free agency and player movement era just makes it even more impressive. And he's going to be going up against a highly stouted defense today from the 60s Cleveland era.
Stanley Morgan goes in motion across the formation for the Patriots. Brady overlooks the seam and gets sacked in the backfield by Willis. An early start for the Browns defense.
And that's a really great play call because you want to blitz Tom Brady so that he doesn't have that perfect throw. And when it's raining like this, that's going to give Brady more time to want to secure the football. So I think you want to blitz all day if you're the Cleveland Browns, really throw him off of his game and the timing.
And Bill Willis came in on the rush for the sack, the Hall of Famer. Loss of 8 brings up 2nd and long. They go to the ground and a flag down. Handoff for the Patriots went to Curtis Martin. Brings up 2nd and 21 for the Patriots, and already behind the 8 ball. Brady works out of the shotgun with Jim Nance flanked wide to the right in the backfield. Morgan in motion. Brady overlooks this grid and throws an incompletion. Good coverage from Hanford Dixon. A look at the Patriots starting offense with Randy Moss returning to the lineup for New England. Stanley Morgan also flanked along the flanker unit for the Patriots, but they face a 3rd and 21. Already adversity here in this playoff game. Welker lines up in the slot to the left of the formation. Brady on 3rd and long. His pass caught by Randy Moss, and he's got a first down. 3rd and 21, and they pick up 25.
And that's a great play call for Randy Moss. They didn't really send him deep that time, Danny. It was kind of a cut on the inside of the field, but if he makes a catch into open field like that, as it was a zone coverage, That gives him a lot of time to really kick those high legs up there and avoid a couple tackles to gain the extra yards for a first down. I really like that route.
New set of downs for the Patriots. Brady, his pass, Moss again, and he's near another first down. They move the chains, first down Patriots. And Randy Moss was such a weapon for Tom Brady, and we're seeing that on this drive.
Well, expect to see so many passes for him today. And again, he's not really throwing the deep ball just yet, only if the rain subsides, because we don't want Randy Moss to have to catch those balls in double coverage while it's raining and while the ball is slippery. They're just getting them open.
Nance in the backfield along with Sam Cunningham. The delay, Jim Nance. Written down, Bill Willis again on the stop, and he's been everywhere already for Cleveland. Patriots still on their opening drive of the game. Here's another look at the replay.
Where you take a look here, they got great blocking from the center, but with Willis in the open field, he's able to kind of read Brady's eyes, figure out before the snap if it's going to be a run or a pass, and then he was on it. He's good at knowing what play's coming before the snap even exists.
Nance on the delay, written down for no gain. A look at the Cleveland defense. Bill Willis, one of the names to mention. Of course, the present-day stars, Myles Garrett, of one of them for the Browns. But this is a team heavily anchored by their superstars of the 50s, where the Browns won 5 consecutive championships, 4 during the AAFC era, and their NFL championship in 1950. On 3rd and 8, Brady throws one, he's intercepted, picked off by Joe Hayden. And Joe Hayden with the interception brought down to midfield.
Joe Hagan, left side safety right there, and what he did was he faked like he was going to blitz and then just dropped back. And when you expect Randy Moss to get the ball every time it's 3rd down, you're going to see 2 to 3 guys around him. Randy Moss was not open on that out route. See, he faked the blitz, popped right back, and that's the easiest catch he'll probably ever have in his life. That one was floated.
Hayden with the interception. Otto Graham is the quarterback for the Browns. His first play from scrimmage is a pass that's caught by Dante Lavelli. And he's down after a pick of a 16 to move the sticks for Cleveland.
And we oftentimes forget how good the offensive line was back for the Browns in the 50s and early 60s. He had about 3 to 4 seconds there before he fired that pass. Great protection from the offensive line, and that's also a big reason for why Jim Brown gained so many yardage throughout his career too, is because of the blocks that he got.
We look to see a lot of him today, especially with the conditions. And here he is, Jim Brown, right side, ridden down by Teddy Bruschi. A look at the Browns starting offense. Jim Brown, you may have heard of him. He's pretty good. The Pro Football Hall of Famer in his own right, one of the best running backs, arguably of all time. In the backfield, Leroy Kelly and Marion Motley additionally, and the receivers, Hall of Famers Paul Warfield, Dante Lavelli, Max Speedy, and the tight end, Ozzie Newsome. 2nd and 8 for Cleveland. Leroy Kelly in the backfield. He's cut the football, able to elude the first tackle of Asante Samuel, but he goes no further. The Patriots defense, Ty Law, Vince Wilfork, Asante Samuel, part of the Patriots championship teams in the 2000s on out, including stars of the past, which includes Nick Buoniconti, Andre Tippett, and Mike Haynes. 3rd and 8 for the Browns. With Jim Brown in the backfield, Graham, his pass, caught, Speedy, he has enough for a Cleveland first down.
A quick little route, Danny. So it looks like he's kind of streaking towards the end zone there, but right before he hits the first down marker, he baits left. So we're going to take a look here. Cut back right around the 30-yard line. That was able to throw the defensive coverage off of its game, and he gave himself just enough of a cushion to catch the ball and then gain the first down.
Browns on their first drive after the Joe Hayden interception. Graham. He looks to throw, and he's dunked in the backfield. Got it away in time. Brings up 2nd and 10. And how big is it going to be with red zone offense in this game? Although they're not there yet, but with the conditions the way they are, how's that going to play a role?
Well, it's going to play a big role, Danny, considering Jim Brown, one of the greatest, if not the greatest running back of all time, can, make those little moves with just a few yards left to the end zone to cut back in.
On 2nd and 10, Graham's pass to the end zone is dropped. Incomplete, almost picked off by Tyler.
Not quite in the red zone yet there, Danny, and that's a good play call because it was 2nd and long, and now in a bit of a hole now here if you're the Browns, 3rd and long. But back to your red zone question, if you take a look at the Patriots side of the ball, Curtis Martin being one of the more underrated fast players in National Football League history, and he's going to have his tear in the red zone as well.
On 3rd and 10, Graham over the middle. Gary Collins near a first down. He needed 10. He picks up 9. Gary Collins, part of the Browns championship team in 1964. They shut out the Baltimore Colts. But that sets up and kicked the game-winning field goal for the Browns in the 1950 NFL championship. Lou Groza, he's got a field goal attempt from 30 yards away out of the hold. Backup quarterback Brian Sipe, and Groza's kick is good. And the Browns turn the interception from Joe Hayden into points. They lead 3-0. Here's the kickoff from Horace Gillum. Julian Edelman on the return for New England, and he only goes as far as the 16. And Tom Brady and the Patriot offense return to the field. First drive, an interception. Now, what do you do here?
Well, you don't want to throw it to Randy Moss every time it's 3rd and long because you're going to have 3 guys covering him all the time. Look for those other slot receivers. You got Gronkowski, you got Edelman. They're all over the place.
You also have Ben Coates. He lurches ahead near a first down on a gain of 10.
And what did I say? Slot receivers. That one was to the right side, a little out route towards the out-of-bounds marker. He was able to give himself a big enough cushion to then grab the ball and then run to the open field. That's a great play call because Randy Moss is going to be going deep. So when the middle linebackers go down with him, there's going to be a lot of field to run towards.
Plenty of options here on 2nd and short. Stanley Morgan goes in motion across the formation for the Patriots. Brady, quick pass, incomplete. Joe Hayden had the coverage broken up well on the pass meant for Stanley Morgan.
I believe that was supposed to be a screen, little bubble screen, but it was too far to the left. Defense read it quickly. They were able to bat the ball away.
1:03 to go in the opening quarter. Patriots line up in a run formation with Jim Nance in the backfield. Standout running back in the 60s. He's got the football and he's got the first down. What a run from Jim Nance. Enough for a Patriot first down.
And that's the second time that they've called Jim Nance's number. And what a perfect time to do it. You got the fullback right in front of him to give him that extra block with 1 yard ahead. As long as he can kind of slip by his shoulder like it's a little screen, he's going to pick up that 1 yard. Great play call, nice and simple. Browns expected it, but if you run it fundamentally correct, you're going to get it.
Nance with a big hole. Jim Nance has the first down on another big gain for New England near the closing end of the first quarter.
And that was simply a halfback dive. You got the linebackers to the right and the linebackers to the left, splitting the defensive line, left a giant hole for Jim Nance.
Ran straight through Clay Matthews, and that is how the first quarter comes to a close here in New England. A Lou Groza 30-yard field goal is the only scoring so far. The Browns lead it 3-0. We begin the second quarter here in Foxborough. Browns and Patriots, a rematch of the 1994 Wildcard game, won by the Browns 20-13. Browns head coach Bill Belichick. Things are a little bit different ever since then. Here's Randy Moss on the completion from Brady. Brings up 2nd and 1 for the Patriots.
And Bill Belichick was new to coaching the NFL when he was coaching the Browns, and he was hungry. And that's where a lot of the great defensive strategies that you saw in New England, it came from all the heavy studying that Bill Belichick did back when he was with Cleveland.
Not to mention his time with the Giants as a DC. Brady slips in the pocket and finds Stanley Morgan, and he's down to the 35.
Well, the cool thing about Belichick with Cleveland was he didn't have Lawrence Taylor and all of those other names, so he had to really find out fundamentally how each individual player is going to fit their certain aspect of the position. And we see that a lot here now with the New England Patriots defense later on as they got Bruschi and Asante Samuel and all the other guys for that early 2000s run.
Here's Brady again on a delay. Jim Nance with a huge lane. Jim Nance all the way to the 13, 22-yard pickup.
And that's the exact play that we saw at the end of the first quarter, Danny. Halfback dive, split the defense right here. Jim Nance, a huge hole. All he has to do is follow those guys to the safeties. Huge pickup, check down.
From the 13, Patriots threatening in the red zone. Curtis Martin in the backfield. This is Randy Moss, and he gets demolished. What a hit! Sprung on by Jim Houston.
And I don't even know what's more impressive. Obviously, the hit's impressive, but the fact that Jim Houston read this play like a book, knew that it was going to be an end around to the star receiver, Randy Moss, and a clean hit, no helmet to helmet, shoulder right into his chest. My goodness.
Textbook hit. Brings up 2nd and 13. Nance again. And he, in fact, loses a yard. Michael Dean Perry was in on the stop for the Browns. Brings up 3rd and 14. What do you call here, Connor?
Well, they picked up over 20 yards on that play the last 2 times that they have ran it. So now, 3rd and 14. Again, you might want to go to some of those slot receivers because you're going to have 3 guys on Edelman. Where is the open field? And Brady knows where the open field is going to be.
Brady is sacked. And guess who? Bill Willis again.
That was a great defensive call. So it was the middle linebacker coming through and rocking Brady. He was the only one blitzing. So they kind of blocked him. The defensive linemen, they got blocks for him to go right through. Meanwhile, the safeties are just going towards the end zone, so Randy Moss and the other receivers can't make a catch.
Yastowski from 42 yards away puts it up and through, and the Patriots put the game into a deadlock with 4:40 to go in the first half. A 3-3 tie here from New England.
As much as we said that this is going to be an offensive onslaught, Danny, between the rushing game of the Browns and the passing game for the Patriots, we also forgot that Bill Belichick, a defensive-minded genius in his own right, has got great schematics, and he knows what's going to happen for both offenses, considering he's been on both teams.
Joe Cribs back to receive the kickoff. A 3-3 deadlock here from Foxborough. Pruitt on the return. And Greg Pruitt advances as far as the 22. And that's where we'll see the Browns offense a field goal on their opening drive under the direction of quarterback Otto Graham. In the backfield for Cleveland is Leroy Kelly. And there's Kelly, and he picks up maybe a yard, and that brings up 2nd down.
Well, this is a huge thing that we really overlooked going into this game, is the fact that the rain is really going to affect how they call their offensive games, considering that both teams can pass the ball, but with that, you don't want that ball getting wet and slipping out of the quarterback's hands.
Graham gets it out of his hands in time for Max Speedy, and he is hurt. 3rd and 7. Graham to the air. Everybody covered until he throws underneath. The completion to Braylon Edwards, short of the sticks. And the Browns forced a punt for the first time today.
Well, we didn't really see a lot of creativity with the routes being run. So Anthony Edwards and the snap prior to that one, same route from the right into the left side, just crossing the field. If you want to beat Bill Belichick and this defensive-minded genius, you're going to have to see more creativity in those passing plays.
Julian Edelman on the return. And Edelman nearly got away from the first wave. He's down to the 41. 3:16 left in the first half. And another look at the Patriots offense. And when you look at New England's history, Connor, and this is a story that for the Patriots, Tom Brady was where all began practically after the injury to Drew Bledsoe. Here's Jim Nance on the handoff. Able to pick up a few yards, a gain of 4.
Yeah, and you can easily argue that Drew Bledsoe is the second greatest Patriots quarterback of all time in terms of if you just look at the statistics and how clutch he was. the 90s to early 2000s Patriots, they were going to kill you with the passing game. They were a very well-rounded team, and Brady, kind of fitting into Belichick's system there, slowly taking over the mantle, soon becoming what we would call the offensive coordinator. There's a flag down on the play.
Repeat, second down.
So a false start on New England.
And it was fun to just watch Brady turn into the quarterback that he was in the early 2000s to then becoming a Peyton Manning-esque play caller.
Nance ushered down. 3rd and 11 on the way.
And Cleveland's expecting that run up the middle. So expect a couple probably halfback stretches and tosses in the backfield now. They're going to really want to make Cleveland think.
See what they do here. Late in the first half. Here's Brady. Rush on his way. And caught by Curtis Martin. And he's got the first down. Still on the move. Curtis Martin with a huge gain of 22. Brings us to the 2-minute warning here in Foxborough. Look at that play again.
Well, what did I tell you? Curtis Martin, he's one of the more underrated, fast, quick players in National Football League history. And so what he's doing here, it looks like he's going to block for Jim Nance, and then he runs to the outside. He's an eligible receiver. Tom Brady just has to dunk it to him, and they have the screen set up.
On 1st and 10, here's Brady. He overlooks the grid and finds Randy Moss near the first down marker. And he's able to hang on to the 27. Look at that play again.
We think of all those incredible catches and how fast he was back in the day, but we also forget about his toughness. That huge hit he took earlier in the game hasn't affected him. Those defenders were bearing down on him. Took the hit, caught the pass, check down.
Brady finds Stanley Morgan and for a gain of 4. And the Patriots starting to move on offense. Late in the first half in a 3-3 deadlock. Here's Brady on the delay. Jim Nance, and he lunges ahead. Shy of the 6. 3rd down on the way. 3rd and short. Brady. Rush coming. His pass. Morgan the catch. He's down to the 6. 1st and goal, New England.
And this drive is showing that Brady has other receivers other than Randy Moss.
Brady looking for another receiver to the end zone. Incomplete.
And that one was forced. Not quite out of the pocket then, so great job by on the blitz for Cleveland. Not quite out of the pocket, so he couldn't throw it away. He had to make it look like he was going towards another receiver, threw it into the danger zone right there. That was the first interception that we saw, a very similar play back in the first quarter.
Len Ford had the rush on the edge with 1:02 to go in the first half. Here's Brady. His pass to the end zone, incomplete. 3rd down on the way. Julian Edelman injured in the aftermath.
Ooh, that could be a huge loss for the Patriots. We'll have to get an injury update later, Danny.
3rd and goal. Brady slips in the pocket, and he is sacked. Another huge play for the Browns defense. Myles Garrett.
And as much as I love this quarterback, I'm surprised to see 3 plays in a row from 1st and goal to 3rd and goal, all passing plays.
They deserted the run that got them there with Jim Nance. Steven Gostowski gives the Patriots the lead with 49 seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, we expect this to be a very low-scoring affair. With the rain, the offenses are going to be a little bit more conservative, especially on 4th and goal right there. Just got sacked. They're going to want to go for the field goal and take the easy points.
Joe Cribbs takes it in the end zone for a touchback. See what the Browns elect to do late in the second quarter of play. AFC Wildcard game winner takes on the Pittsburgh Steelers next week. In motion, across the formation goes Max Speedy. Graham's pass caught by Gary Collins. He's near a first down. Browns elect to call timeout with 43 seconds to go.
Well, this will be fun to watch, Danny, because we've seen so many Tom Brady patented drives with seconds left in the half or the 4th quarter, but we never really got to see a lot of Otto Graham stuff caught on tape, so let's see what he can do.
1950 championship comes to mind. Here's a deep throw, and it is incomplete. Intended for Jim Brown.
Yeah, Jim Brown. We oftentimes forget that he can line up as a receiver because we've seen so many runs. And with that ball, honestly, just could have put a little bit more oomph on it. I like how he floated it in there, but they had a bunch of middle linebackers in the secondary just converged on it.
With a slippery football, you never know what to expect when it leaves the quarterback's arm. Here it is again down the sideline, incomplete, caught, almost Speedy, but he didn't bring it in.
A lot of pepper on that ball, Danny. And Speedy was wide open too, going down the right side. And I thought he could have caught it here. Let's see the challenge.
He almost did.
He almost did. And pardon me, not a challenge, a little replay there that dropped right in between his legs. We'll have to do it over. 3rd and 10.
Here's Graham. He overlooks the grid and elects to run. Otto Graham disposed after, in the end, a 1-yard run. Patriots do call timeout. Horace Gillum on the punt for Cleveland. Closing seconds of the first half. And this boot heads down for Troy Brown. And he is pinballed down with 18 seconds to go in the half.
And that's a smart play simply because giving it to Troy Brown instead of kicking it out of bounds, when he gets that ball, that's going to take at least 4 to 8 seconds off of the clock, Danny. So that only gives the Patriots probably an opportunity to call maybe 3 plays at the most.
18 seconds to work with. Brady cranks up the deep ball, and the pass is caught. Randy Moss brings it down at the 20. The Patriots are out of timeouts, though. They hurry to the line, and it does not look as if they'll make it. 2 seconds and 1, and the half is over.
And that was one pass to get it all. Randy Moss, they had him only in man coverage with one guy on him. I was surprised to see that. And Tom Brady just hurled it up there. They were hoping he was going to catch it and get right into the end zone. That's a really good play call, but if he gets tackled, you're probably not going to make it to the line of scrimmage as we head into the second half. It is a field goal. That is all the difference between these two teams.
The second half between Cleveland and New England, with a spot in the AFC divisional round against the Pittsburgh Steelers, awaiting the winner of this game. Second half yet to ensue. There's Otto Graham. Browns scored on their opening drive of the game after an interception from Joe Hayden, resulting in the Browns' only points of the half. And away we go for half number 2. And Greg Pruitt on the kickoff return for the Browns. A good one all the way out to the 27. So back onto the field comes the Cleveland offense as they look for answers after their opening drive led to a field goal. No scoring ever since then against the Patriot defense has put on one stout performance so far today. Graham on first down finds Max Speedy. And he's down to the 31 to bring up 2nd and 7 for Cleveland.
And we've seen Max Speedy be targeted so many times today, and that's because against this defense, he's the best receiver that the Browns have at running those little inside routes, getting it in between the rooms of the middle linebackers and the safeties so he can make that catch and then grab a couple more yards before getting tackled.
2nd and 7, deep ball throw by Graham is pulled down. Dante Lavelli, enough for a Cleveland first down.
And I like to see more of that from Otto Graham, especially in today's game, where anytime you touch the receiver, there's going to be a flag. Even if he doesn't catch it, there's a good chance that there is going to be pass interference on a rainy day like today, so you're going to get the yardage anyway.
Yardage converted down to the 24. With Jim Brown in the backfield, Winslow goes in motion. This is Jim Brown, and he is written down by Mike Vrabel.
Number 32.
Great read by the secondary. By the time Jim Brown had the ball, everybody eventually moved up to the line of scrimmage to stop him. So very quick reaction. That was all in the middle linebackers.
2nd and 9. Ozzie Newsome goes in motion. Graham to the air again. His pass to the end zone incomplete. 3rd and 9 on the way for Cleveland.
Right now, we haven't seen any deep balls completed all day, with the exception of 2 plays ago, Danny. And so I think that right now, the Patriots secondary has been a big key factor in why they have a 6-3 lead. They've been dropping back. They've been playing zone like animals, covering all of those Browns receivers.
They need the 14 for a first down. Graham's pass to the end zone, incomplete. And the Browns,
And even then, Otto Graham's got all day to throw it, and there's still nobody open.
maybe a little bit of a surprise that Browns have come out throwing the football and not relying on Jim Brown at all.
Sure.
But with that, here is a field goal attempt of 40 yards from Luke Rosa. His first try was from 30 yards away. And this time, Rosa's kick is good. And the game is tied at 6.
And perhaps with this roster, they're trying to update it to more of today's game, more of a pass-friendly game, as we know. But, you know, with Jim Brown in the backfield and how you used to operate everything back in the 50s and 60s, it could cause a big problem for the Patriots. So I would like to see more of those running games being called, especially in the red zone.
Claiborne on the return, and he is railroaded at the 23. Does Raymond Claiborne, and that is where Tom Brady will see his first look of the football in the second half. What do you expect from New England's offense after being subdued by the rain?
Well, again, I'd like to see more plays specifically handed off to Nance and Martin. And speak
About
of the
Jim
devil,
Nance, the penalty marker's down. Nance has the first down with plenty more. Nance takes it the distance. Touchdown. Uh-oh.
Holding. Offense. First down.
A holding call against Logan Mankins nullifies the touchdown.
Yep, and the sad thing about that, too, is had the holding not have happened, it still would have been in the end zone.
Martin taken down by Bill Willis. You mentioned it, Connor. A clear opening for Jim Nance. Here it is. The stop on the handoff by Martin. But a costly penalty there. 2nd and 15 here as Brady looks to throw. He throws, caught Moss over the middle, and he is hit again. Clay Matthews in on the stop. Randy Moss eclipses the century mark.
And Curtis Martin was to the right side of Brady, and they had a blitz coming from the right side, and he threw a great block, which gave Brady enough time to make that pass. So instead of 3rd and 10, it's going to be 3rd and 3.
And on 3rd and 3, Brady finds Stanley Morgan, who nearly pinballed out of a tackle. Still enough for a Patriot first down.
And this is great because with Randy Moss running deep, you got everybody else with more field to throw to, considering that they're going to want to double team him. Stanley Morgan, a big weapon to the right side. Brady was able to give him right to him.
New set of downs for the Patriots with 3:48 to go in the third. This is Corey Dillon for 5. First carry of the game for Dillon.
And Dillon was really good at that. He's really good at reading the blocks before they happen. That was originally designed to go to the left side, but then went where the play was going and just cut up field.
Product of the University of Washington. This is Jim Nance, and he nearly broke away. He does pick up 4, brings up 3rd and 1 for the Patriots.
And I think with it raining, you're probably going to want to run it again. But considering what you have with the quarterback and the receiving core, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a quick fake handoff here, a little play action pass. Maybe dump it off to somebody running right across the field for the first down. Looks like Cleveland's in the 46.
Brady slips, gets it away, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Randy Moss. And after a drive that seemed so promising with the touchdown run from Jim Nance wiped off the board, New England forced to punt for the first time today.
And for perhaps the 3rd time today, considering Brady had an interception and a couple miscued balls in the red zone, we see the rain really playing a factor on the offensive production there. Brady slipped and had to throw it away.
Bryce Behringer's punt heads into the end zone for a touchback. So we'll see the Cleveland offense again. Remember, they started the second half, Cleveland did, with an air raid offense. Do we expect to see that here on this drive?
Well, we got one back in the backfield, and that's the great Jim Brown.
Graham slips in the backfield and finds Ozzie Newsome. And he has 7 yards, brings up 2nd and 3.
And for those of you wondering, during the halftime, it just kept raining, so that field is only getting slippier and slippier, especially on this turf with the rubber. You know, I can see how on grass it would be a lot easier. Or pardon me, this is grass. This grass with all of the mud, it's going to make things a lot more slippier as opposed to turf, where that rubber is made to kind of take all the
coming, caught by Ozzie Newsome, and he has the first down for Cleveland. But you look at, especially the games that have taken place. Remember yesterday's game between Green Bay and the Rams? Connor, you and I were there for that one, and took the plane ride over from Green Bay to New England, rather. And a little bit of a trek, but we've made it. Jet lag and all. Here's Leroy Kelly. He zigzags his way up the middle, and he has a gain of 5.
Yeah, well, jet lag or no jet lag, I mean, these two teams, you know, it's been raining. I mean, especially in January, you just never know what you're going to get weather-wise in New England. So you got to not only prepare for the rain, but it could also be snowy. It's cold.
2nd and 5. Graham, he has time. Let's one go. Ozzie Newsome the catch, and he is stopped near the first down marker, just shy of it. Brings up 3rd and 1.
And Ozzie Newsome is really good at that. A little quick dump out pass, but what he's really good at is getting the ball and then making the first man miss. So I would like to see more plays like that. If you're not going to hand it off to Jim Brown, give it to Ozzie Newsome, one of the best receivers the Browns have ever had. Make the first man miss, and he can easily gain that check down. 3rd and 1.
Jim Brown's got the first down. Finally tracked in the end by Devin McCourty. And that's the way the 3rd quarter comes to an end. One team is headed to Pittsburgh. Another team's season comes to a close. The outcome next. Start of the 4th quarter in the AFC Wildcard game here in Foxborough. Danny DeBock alongside Connor Focasano. The winner of this game to play Pittsburgh for a spot in the AFC Championship next week. Here's Graham. He lobs one in the air, incomplete. 2nd down on the way. And when you look at the regular season for these two teams, Pittsburgh beat New England 24-17. Game that I happened to be on hand for. What was a solid Pittsburgh win. The Browns handed Steelers one of their few losses this year. 2nd and 10. Graham, his pass, a screen. Brown, and not much doing. Brings up 3rd and 9. And with the 4th quarter in full swing, 3rd downs become increasingly more important.
Yeah, just hand it off to him. I'm not so sure why we're seeing so many passes towards the star running back. The offensive line can make those blocks. You just got to trust in them.
Trust in the offensive line here. Graham looks, staggers in the pocket, and he's sacked. Larry Eisenhower on the sack for the Patriots.
And the Patriots defense, this might have been the drive right here for the defense that it may be early to tell, but that may have just won the game for the New England Patriots. I'm assuming, Danny, that this is going to be one of those games where one of these teams is going to win the game, probably by the length of a field goal.
We'll have to wait and see. Here's Troy Brown on the return past the 30 and finally cut down at that mark. 6:41 remaining in regulation time. You're in the AFC Wildcard game.
And so far, this is the lowest scoring playoff game Brady has ever played in.
It is very much that. Plenty more. You think about Super Bowl 53, Stanley Morgan makes the catch, lunges ahead. He has enough for a first down for New England. Great tone setter.
What you're going to want to do if you're New England is just continue to make those completions and then run the clock down. Run it down, get that field goal. Give Cleveland as little time as possible for perhaps a final drive.
6:08 to go. Jim Nance, right side, bottled up. Great open field tackle. Myles Garrett has had his name all over the field today for Cleveland.
Yeah, and Myles Garrett, what can you say about him? He is a competitor and an animal. Now you see there getting blocked, still to no avail. It pushes right by him like it's paper and makes the tackle.
2nd and 12. Nance again in the backfield. This is Jim Nance, and he can't find much room. Injured Brown, Tommy James. All sets up a critical 3rd and 9. Brady, play action fake, and he is sacked again. This time, the rush caved in from Len Ford.
That was a fake handoff, and that's a play that's not supposed to happen. That design is not to have Tom Brady roll out practically backwards and then go to his left. So from the left side, you have everybody pressuring him, so he's going to run to his right side. They already had the defense all over him.
Bryce Behringer on to punt for New England. This is Joe Cribbs on the return from his 15. And Cribbs gains as much as the 26 with 4:48 remaining in the game. Otto Graham, he's been in this position several times in his career. We mentioned the 1950 NFL Championship, comeback drive to win first NFL championship. He hopes to lead a comeback here for the Browns against 6-time world champions. Brown, this time, picks up a yard. Eisenhower in on the stop for the Patriots.
That's how long Otto Graham's been playing. He was playing well before the word wildcard was even invented for any sport. So you can imagine if he's been doing it in the championship game, he's got the clutch gene to do it in the wildcard game in Foxborough against these very loud and rabid Boston fans. We'll see what happens down the stretch.
Very passionate fan base as Gary Collins is hit hard, but he does hang on for a first down.
And if Cleveland wins this game, that catch is going to go down in Cleveland folklore for a long time. What a great job to secure that ball and keep it. And then to get back up, too. Show the defense that didn't affect you.
Gary Collins, great poise from 64 NFL champion. Leroy Kelly, he is leveled. This time the hit that came from Brandon Merriweather, or rather Rodney Harrison for New England, brings up 2nd and 9.
Rodney Harrison, you could argue the best player at that position for both New England and for San Diego.
For that matter, too. On 2nd and 9, Graham's pass is caught by Jim Brown. And he moves the chains, written out of bounds aggressively with 3:09 to go.
You can see how Cleveland is really trying to update their offense towards more of the modern game. There had been more passes to Jim Brown in today's game than handoffs, I believe. And this one was just a little dump off to the left side. Fortunately, I had enough room to make a couple moves there and get the first down. Huge first down on this drive. Everyone is so critical.
Here's Brown again. He's got the first down and plenty more. Jim Brown all the way to the 25.
And we're getting into timeout position now, Danny. Once that 2-minute marker hits, we might see New England use all 3 of their timeouts, which is going to have a huge effect on that final drive.
And if
of
you're
course,
Cleveland,
with the rain, you never know. Somebody could fumble the ball here, so
here's
keep
Leroy
protecting that ball.
Kelly, and he's hit by Mike Vrabel. 2nd and 8.
The ball carrier on the play. Gain of 2.
And for the Browns, another question here is, when do you score? Because you are going up against TB12 on the other end, 6-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. Leroy Kelly,
False start. Offense. Repeat, 2nd down.
From 2nd and 8 to 2nd and 13 after the false start penalty. Again, Leroy Kelly is in the backfield for Cleveland. Graham overlooks the grid and finds Ozzie Newsome. That takes us to the 2-minute warning here in New England. Tied at 6.
The result of the play is a first down.
Two minutes left in the AFC Wildcard game. In regulation, Jim Brown in the backfield, the Browns in the New England 12. In a 6-6 tie, Graham gives to Brown, spins out of a tackle. Jim Brown all the way to the 7. 2nd and 4. Brown again, stutter step, and he picks up 4. 3rd and 1 for Cleveland. With Jim Brown in the backfield, Pruitt in motion. This is Jim Brown, and he's got the touchdown. And Cleveland, for the first time since the first quarter, has taken the lead with 1:44 to go.
I see Cleveland learned its lesson from the first time they were in the red zone. Too much passing, and they just handed off to Jim Brown up the middle 3 times in a row. And if there's anyone that's deserving to send this team to the 2nd round, it's Jim Brown. Now, hold on a second, because we have TB12, and he's proven to himself that he can play through anything.
Here's Luke Groza. Extra point, a big one, is good. And the Browns lead 13-6 with 1:44 to go. And now, all eyes set as we see Jim Brown and his stat line today. Not the most impressive by any means. But for the Browns and their story, winning a total of 4 AFC championships and also 4 NFL championships, so 8 championships as a whole, which outmatches that of New England, which may come as a surprise to some. But touted resume for Cleveland, no surprise they're hanging tough with this New England team. But that all can be for naught. See what Tom Brady can do. On the kickoff return, Troy Brown brings this kickoff out to the 23. 100 seconds to go. And this, the moment we've all been waiting for. Tom Brady with another chance to lead yet another patented comeback drive. They start from the 23. Brady drops to throw, gets it away in time. Jim Nantz spins out of a tackle, and he loses 4 yards. Not the way you want to start the drive.
Yeah, especially with the little screenplay. I'm surprised to see that with so little time left.
Brady, he has all day. Brady lets one go towards the Browns sideline, incomplete. 3rd and 14.
And even on 2nd and long, you know, Cleveland, with a great play call, they went into the prevent defense, which usually prevents the Hail Mary. And so with that, if everyone's going deep, there aren't going to be any open receivers. I was surprised to not see them utilize Julian Edelman in the slot to kind of give that cushion towards the middle of the field defensively.
3rd and 14. Brady, good protection. Deep ball throw, and the pass is pulled down. Stanley Morgan to the 24.
Who would have expected? Brady always does this. He always throws it to somebody that you're going to least expect. It wasn't Randy Moss. It's Stanley Morgan making the huge catch.
On 1st down, Brady. He has time. His pass caught by Moss inside the 10, and he's to the 6. Randy Moss with 129 yards receiving. Brady clocks to stop the clock with 45 seconds left in the game. 2nd and goal from the 6. And for the Browns, this is where your goal line defense looks to make a stop. Patriots 6 yards away from tying the game. Brady from the gun. He looks to throw. Brady to the end zone. Incomplete. Broken up at the last moment. Sets up 3rd and goal.
That dropped interception, that would have sealed it for Cleveland. And you don't want to give Tom a second chance. So let's see what happens. And with how the no-huddle's been working, it makes you wonder why they haven't done it all game, Danny.
3rd and goal. Brady throws a screen pass. The ball is loose, and it's recovered by him for Dixon. And that'll end the game. A screen pass turned into a fumble, recovered by Dixon, and the game is over.
Unbelievable. I've seen it all, Danny. Now, I think that there was a little miscommunication between Curtis Martin and Tom Brady there. Brady just dropped back to throw and threw it a little too early. By the time Martin had his head turned, the ball had already hit him in the shoulder. And
did you believe that finish? And the Browns are headed to Pittsburgh. My goodness, what an ending. A storied game between two teams that came all the way down to the final play. But the fumble from Martin at the end, Connor, that is one that you have got to secure the football there.
And for a team who's had fumbles go against them, finally Cleveland can smile at one and say thank you.
The Browns say thank you to the Patriots. They move on to the AFC divisional playoffs to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. For Connor Focasano, I'm Danny DeBock. Browns moving on to the AFC divisional round.